common people, going against the wolves of hell. We're commonwealth for common people, through community, Mike Martin's you and me. Throw our enemies, through knowledge come rebel. When we were expecting white and pearly gates, with Mike we tell our stories, share our trades and housing and stocks and all the things that we all make. Through his show we crescendo symphonies instead of war and wave. Common people, common people, commonwealth, common
Bid you all good morning, good evening, and good night, wherever you're watching this transmission. Thanks for joining us on the show. Thanks for joining us for Commonwealth for Common Folks. People waiting there in the chat room. Got everything straightened out. A lot of setting up to do. There's actually quite a bit of setting up to do in the background. So it takes a little bit of time, quite a bit of patience, quite a bit of work. I hope everyone's doing well out there. Guys, we got a story and a half. We got something major that's going to cause a major uproar to the south of us in the United States of America. And it is time to cook, like GP100 saying in the comment section. Anyways, let's go real quick to a channel plug, and we're going to jump into tonight's big story. And it is, let me get a better zoom here. It's a story and a half. You guys are going to want to follow this if you're in Canada, Australia, the UK, because they're testing it out in America first. And it's going to be very interesting where the cards fall. Or where the chips fall. Or where, I don't even know how the saying goes in English. But we'll see how that comes out in the mix. We got the people rolling into the comments. Low roller scratchers here. Metal Gear Mark III. Who else? GP100. Spider Jerusalem in the house. We need to get a debate between Metal Gear Mark III and Lord Humongous. Yeah. We need to get them both to have a discussion, and what we'll do is we'll give each of them, I'll say go, one guy would go, the next guy would go, the next guy, then nobody would interrupt, no one would speak over, nobody will do what we have to do to just get a nice, friendly, wholehearted debate on cryptocurrency, right? So, we got Search for the Truth in the house, thanks for joining us. Order Divine Warrior, you're the best, thanks for coming, man. Jordan Retro, oh, everybody's in the house tonight. Okay, quick channel plug, and we're going to go to our main story because this It's going to be, it is a lot bigger. So, YouTube Cash channel, told you guys to subscribe, was basically breaking this story early this morning when I was going through my subscribers, and we're gonna take a look at that, okay? All right, here we go. Channel plug. Guys, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Guys, don't forget to set your reminders for Mike in the Night, the hit Saturday show. Mike in the Night, wake up. I'm going to give you guys a little link here to set your reminders for next week's show for Mike in the Night. Guys, don't forget to shop Teespring, dirt bike t-shirts there, and let me show you the dirt bike t-shirt. Lord Humongous is wearing the dirt bike t-shirt. Wow. Wow, look at that. He bought the Mike Martins. It says Mike Martins right there. Dirt bike t-shirt. This looks good when you wear a leather jacket over it. You can wear it like that, or you could wear it like, it's a very loud shirt. So I want to thank him for buying that t-shirt. Guys, don't forget to send me your stuff. I'm going to give you my Instagram. Please send me show tips, messages. If you just need to contact me, I don't care. Just contact me. A lot of people, I make time for you guys. Contact me there on Instagram, artbydano.com. Don't forget to check out, he's got a new release section. Go ahead and check out what he's got there. He's one of us. He supports the channel, and he supports everything we do here. Ralphie.co.New Zealand, music by Ralphie. And don't forget to donate to the 24-hour radio where we have Mike in the Night. So let's get this thing going here. Donate with PayPal, guys, if you can. Ralphie.co.New Zealand, 24-hour radio, 24 hour, 7 days a week out of New Zealand with some pretty cool New Zealand music. Don't forget to check it out. All right, how you guys doing out there? I hope everybody's feeling good tonight. Tonight is going to be a show and a half, and I'm going to start taking in callers right away on this because we'll go over some other articles, and then we're going to get back to the main story. So you guys get, you know what? I'll even put this last. Let me go backwards through my. Let's go backwards through the articles, and we'll stop with oil, gold, what's going on, and then we're gonna get into what's happening in America for our big story, and we'll take call-ins. So guys, turn on your Skypes. I'll be taking in lots of calls today, and you guys are not gonna believe what is gonna happen in the United States. I don't know how in stone it is. I don't know how bad it's going to get, but things are going to get real bad because they're going to pull the trigger on something. So, Spider Jerusalem, turn on your Skype. I need you on the show after today's topic. You're going to see what we're talking about, and I want everyone to call in on topic for this one because this is a good one. And I want to know what you guys think of this or how it's going to affect us all over the English-speaking world, because this is going to be the make or break of America, in my opinion. Amerifornia is here, but Amerifornia is going to be sped up a lot quicker. A lot quicker. All right, let's get into top stories, and we'll get to our main story here. All right, oil rally pauses as investors weigh rising gasoline supply. So supply in gasoline is going up. The futures in London paired again as much as 1.6 cents after testing a run to the key psychological US $70 a barrel mark, while Energy Information Administration report on Wednesday showed US crude stockpiles fell nearly 8 million barrels last week, and experts surged by the most on record. Gasoline inventories rose for the fifth straight week. So there you have, here it is. Not quite yet. Brent drifts lower after an earlier climb towards the key $70 a barrel mark. I said $65 by the end of March. I don't know if it was at 65 by the end of March. I'm not too sure how on the ball I was with that. Okay, here we go. Dogecoin. The Dogecoin joke is turning serious in latest crypto binge. So there it is, Dogecoin. For anyone who still thinks Dogecoin is a joke, there are some 90 billion reasons that say it is not. That's how much the digital token is nearly worth $1 in dollar terms after jumping again. Wow, $90 billion in Wednesday trading, unless useless or not, the coin has been swept up in the cryptomania that's gripped markets awash in central bank largesse. It's the latest milestone in a year of speculative excessive for market neural Rubini, one who describes the mother of all bubbles. While in the past, trillions of dollars in stimulus by governments and central banks might have triggered a rush into gold for the inflation-wary and risky stocks for the intrepid. A deluge of cash this time round is flooding into a nascent crypto market. So back during the day when stimulus was given out during war times or even during the Great Depression, a lot of people rushed to buy gold to hedge their money against inflation. Now, people are rushing to buy, woof, woof, Dogecoin! Yeah, Dogecoin! Good, we got Lord Humongous, and I showed him your picture with the Dirt Bike t-shirt, by the way. And we need to have a discussion with Metal Gear Mark III and Lord Humongous. It's not Dodge, it's Doge. Oh, I'm so sorry, guys. It's not Dogecoin, it's Dogecoin. I didn't mean to butcher the name there. I was just being funny because the coin was built out of a joke. Gold, silver, blindsided by hawkish Yellen comments. So this is important because they've been manipulating gold and silver for so many years. So they go like this. In overnight news, Australia's central bank left its monetary policy unchanged at its regular meeting on Tuesday. The Royal Bank of Australia said it expects no rise in interest rates at least until 2024. Woo! So if they don't see an interest rate change in Australia soon, you're going to see houses going for $5 million, $6 million bucks. But you can't leave the country because of COVID. COVID is not going to allow you to leave your own country. So there it is. Technically, June gold futures bulls have the slight overall near-term technical advantages for 4-week-old uptrend on the daily bar. So there it is right there. Whoop, there it is right there. There it is for you guys to see there. Uptrend on the daily bar. Sam Zill buys gold with inflation reminiscent of the 1970s. Now, we discussed this on the channel many times. If you look at Playboy January 1980 edition, in the new, they have a little, like, they used to have like a comment section on gold and all that. Like, they would talk about that. I think it's on page 13 or 14. I think Steve Martin's on the cover. Yeah, that actor. Is on the cover, and if you go to page 16 or 17, you'll see that gold pretty much went to the moon, literally went to the moon within a matter of days. And so there it is. Zell79 said he's concerned not only about the U.S. dollar, but the other countries printing money as well, and questioned whether inflation will be transitory, as the Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell indicated last week. So, oh boy, we're seeing it all over the place, Zell said, of inflation. You read about lumber prices, but that might be manipulated. Watch last week's Mike in the Night, where they're just manipulating all kinds of crap. But we're seeing it all in all of our businesses. The obvious bottlenecks in the supply chain arena are pushing up prices. It's very reminiscent of the 1970s. So if you guys were alive at the time, you know what I'm talking about. New construction home sales soar to record highs. Low mortgage rates and low inventory levels are making the demand for home building more attractive to buyers, a recent Redfin report found. So that is in the United States, but here it is right there because they're going through a California. New construction share was 17.4%. Year-over-year change in build permits and single-family home construction. That's what they were saying for a long time in Canada. Oh, it's a supply issue. Hold on, guys. Supply issue. Okay. Guess how many houses there are for every one Canadian in Canada? 18. You think I'm shitting you? Canada is now completing 18 homes for every person as the population grows. Population is not growing. There it is right there. Sorry. And we covered this a few weeks ago, but this is important. Look at that number. This is not the end of the graph where they cue it off. It's actually 18. So for the longest time, on average, we had about half a person to a home. So for every house, we had half a person. And then all of a sudden, after recalculating the numbers, there's 18.41 homes per person. So to all those years of supply, we need to build more. Right there. Build more of that right there. You've been screwing people. You've been lying to people. And this mainstream media and all this garbage should stay the hell out of business. Okay? Stay the hell out of business if you don't know how to report what's going on. Stop reporting shit. Because people are tired of watching garbage. Like that. There's your supply and demand right there. So here we go. We got $5 million condos. Seems like a great deal. Further push from immigrants. No, it's not. Actually, Canada's losing immigration. They're not getting as many people as they used to back into Canada, because I think people are actually, with internet now, are doing their research on what's actually really, really, really going on right now. So we got people in the comment section. Everyone's hoping for a big debate between Lord Humongous and Metal Gear Mark III. Everybody's like, Metal Gear Mark III doesn't want to debate. He says, he's already won the debate, so... All right, let's keep going here. We got lots of work to do here tonight. We're going to take in some calls, and we need to find out what the hell is going on here, because there's a lot going on here, and we need to... Let's go backwards on our thing till we get to our main story tonight. New construction home sales soar. We got that already. So they're playing the supply and demand that they did in Australia, in New Zealand, and the UK, and Canada. Now they're saying it in America. California. Okay, so let's move on here. Canadian National makes $30 billion topping bid for Kansas City Southern. This is a huge buyout of Kansas City Southern Railway by Canadian National, CN. Offer represents 21% premium to agreement with Canadian Pacific reached last month. Canadian National offered $325 for each Kansas City Southern share, including $200 in cash and 1.059 Canadian National shares. The company said the offer represents a 21% premium to Canadian Pacific Railway lot agreement to pay $275 a share, including $90 in cash, a roughly $25 billion deal reached last month. The move sets up a tussle for key strategic asset points to benefit from the expected surge in economic activity as the world emerges from the COVID pandemic. Either combination would create the first freight rail network linking U.S., Mexico, and Canada by connecting ports in 3 countries. That's big news here, guys. So Layla said it right. She was on the show last week, and she told us that people need to buy stocks in CN. All right, skip the bidding wars. So there's a lot of bidding wars happening in America, and, it's happening now. So here it is. This is where you should be buying. Miami Beach, Florida. Newburgh, New Jersey. Odessa, Texas. Springfield, Illinois. Iowa City, Iowa. Stamford, Connecticut. Las Cruces, New Mexico. Hupkin, New Jersey. Sioux Falls, South Dakota. And Tuscaloosa, Alabama. Sorry, guys, for butchering that. So the median price in Miami is $495. Newburgh, New Jersey, $259. Odessa, Texas, $232. Iowa City, $309. Stamford, Connecticut, $520. And Las Cruces, New Mexico, $241. And Hobneck, New Jersey, $784. Wow, that's a lot of money, man. Holy crap. And Sioux Falls, South Dakota, $259. And Tuscaloosa, Alabama, $248. So there are places there you could pick up property for really cheap or a lot there. But Amerifornia is coming, so you guys don't need to worry about that. All right. What is happening? We have to move this This is what life is like in the fastest growing up property in a property market in the world. So that's probably talking about Hong Kong. I love this here. We're going to be talking about this on Mike and Line. Facebook upholds Trump ban, saying he encouraged and legitimized violence. Wow. I don't know what to say, guys. I don't know why they keep spinning this and making stuff up. Oh, my God. Okay, here it is. So we're getting the markets here. The Dow closed at 34,230, up 97 points. The S&P 500 was at 4,167, up 2.93 points. The S&P TSX was at 19,310. And what do we got here? Crude oil is at 65. Bitcoin is at 69,000 Canadian. I don't know what that is in America. That's like 56,000 or something like that. Or 58,000. And 10-year bond is down at 0.008 at 158. And let's see if there's anything else. Right now, markets are open. The Nikkei 225 is sitting at 29,163, up 341. The FTSE over in the UK is at 7,039, 116.13. And that's good to know. Good things to know. Gold price action is meh. And only stock market correction can fix that, says Bloomberg Intelligence. Here's the deal with that, guys. Let me tell you what I think about that. Yeah, sure. Whatever. Stock market correction and whatever. It's trying to buy physical gold and silver right now is what's hard. Buying physical gold and silver. I know some states in America are not charging taxes on gold and silver. If you buy gold, there's some states now that are, I don't know how to say it. They're issuing, or they're telling vendors they no need to charge tax anymore on people shopping for gold and silver. I've seen a few articles already about it, but here's the problem with that. What if they're doing this so when we buy it, we don't pay the tax on it, but they come and confiscate it? Yeah. What if they come and confiscate that, right? So here it is here. When we look back this year, we're going to see that this year's paradigm shifted. Going forward, there's good potential that your average investor will be adding Bitcoin to sovereign wealth funds, to corporate treasuries, and pension funds. And so what's next? Central banks? So there it is right there. So banks might follow in suit to Dogecoin. Sorry, I mispronounced Dogecoin. Oops. That's what the article... Sorry, guys. Let me go to article. That's what the article's saying here. Let's move on here. This is coming out of England. Calgary is the world's most affordable city for housing, says UK study says. In comparison to the average earner in Vancouver, you can now afford a 54 square foot of housing up to from 40 square feet. In 2006, Calgary, it's now nearly 154 square feet. So there you go right there. The prices are affordable. So you could pick up the average condo apartment price is $246,000 because there's high inventory in Calgary. You could still buy a detached house in Calgary for less than $500,000. So everyone sees that, oh, this is a great deal under $500,000 because in my city it's $2 million. But here's the problem with that. If they raise interest rates, well, let me rephrase that so it makes a little bit of more sense here. When they raise interest rates, you're going to see what's going to happen. All right, let's move on. Home prices continuing to soar, but experts don't expect another housing bubble. Here's why. The nationwide housing boom hit a new benchmark as March as housing prices jumped more than 11%, but experts say growth will likely taper off the second half of this year, intensifying unaffordability narrows. It doesn't matter, because like 90% of Canadians are in unaffordability territory. Yeah! So what's going to happen? What we're going to see in a few minutes what's happening in America. We're going to get to America real. This is in America right now, too. This is this poor potential home buyers. They're competing for wealthy investors. America got $11 billion from Hong Kong in 2020. America's not going to open the colleges. America's going to be open for business. So if you're, a lot of people, I spoke to people in China, and they told me, yes, Mike, we prefer to go to America for studies, for this, for shopping, for buying homes and stuff. Now that Trump is out, they're California, And Bidon is the president-elect. You're going to see more Chinese. They're going to bypass Canada. They're going to bypass Australia and New Zealand, where they were selling out, basically, those countries, so the locals can't afford to buy anything. Now, Marifornia is happening. Marifornia is just getting started. Liddy Poo saying 2/3 of Canadians own their homes. Yeah, but when I mean own your home, I mean like you actually own your home. Like you're not paying for it, or you're not, and then you bring in a lot of cash purchases from overseas. Obviously, that's going to register as you own your home, right? I don't know. I'm seeing completely different things. You know, I'm here in BC. Maybe in Manitoba it's a bit different, but here in BC it's very different. 90% of people I know in this town, okay, 50% are renters that I know personally. The other 50% are homeowners because they either sold their property in Vancouver or took their down payment like I did and just bought a house here. And no questions asked, right? So that may be a little bit different depending on what part of Canada. But right now, in Manitoba, you may be seeing a different aspect on things as opposed to British Columbia, right? So there it is right there. Canadian households now need up to 32 years to save for a down payment. Yeah. 32 years. So I wonder how many people really own their properties. If you need 32 years, last time we discussed this, it took 27 years for a down payment. So Canadian households need to save up to 32 years for a down payment. Okay, thank you. So what's the deal with this? Well, here's the deal. You start working at 20, and I'm going to be, basically, you'll see a father with his arm over his son's shoulder and say, son, today you're going to work. You're 20 now. And in 32 years, you will afford a down payment for your home. You'll be 52. Yeah. Yeah. That's the problem, guys. If people don't see a problem with this, then I don't even know what the hell I'm doing here and wasted my time, because this is a problem. You should be able to save 3-4 years for a down payment on a home, respectively. Respectfully, you should. Now 32 years to save for a down payment? So you start working at 20, okay? Like working hard at 20. By the time you're 52, you could put a down payment on. I don't even know how this is even in conversation right now. Yeah. Let's continue reading this BS. Canada's hottest real estate markets for young adults are far outside of the city. That's because saving a down payment to be in some cities would take the majority of their adult lives. So there it is. Vancouver. Holy crap. Let's go to full screen here. Holy crap. So since 2000, it was, if 10% is assumed, the savings rate is 10%. Wow. So there's Vancouver right there. Holy crap. There's Toronto right behind Victoria, Urban Compensate, Hamilton, Gatineau, Calgary, Montreal, Edmonton, Winnipeg's way down here, and so is Quebec. These places here, you're within line. Quebec, Winnipeg, Edmonton, and parts of Montreal and Calgary are still within line in Canada. That's why that article said, right there. Toronto non-condo down payment takes 25 years. Vancouver non-condo down payment takes 32 years. Montreal non-condo takes 4 years. Right there. Montreal non-condo down payment takes 4 years. That's what it's supposed to take. It's supposed to take 4 years for a down payment to save 10% of your earnings. Okay? So there it is. I'm not making this stuff up, guys. There it is. 4 years in Montreal. Non-condo down payments take 4 years. Vancouver, 32 years. Toronto, 25 years. Yeah. So if you guys think this is normal, then I don't even know what to say anymore. All right, guys, here's tonight's big story. I want some Americans to call in tonight. Here it is, guys. If there's any updates on this, I need to know now. CNBC is reporting federal judge overturns national eviction ban. A federal judge struck down on Wednesday, that's today, the national eviction moratorium, potentially leaving millions of Americans at risk of losing their homes. There it is right there. Tonight on Trend and Commonwealth for Common Folks. Housing advocates have said the national ban is necessary to stave off unprecedented displacement of Americans, which could worsen the COVID pandemic just as the country is turning a corner. Property owners have criticized the policy and say landlords can't afford to continue housing people for free. This is it, guys. This is a major issue that is happening in the United States of America. And right now, it's a test pilot for Canada, Australia, New Zealand, and the UK. So tonight's big story is federal judge Dabney Frederick struck down on Wednesday the national eviction moratorium, potentially leaving millions of Americans at risk of losing their homes 2 months earlier than expected. The Centers for Disease Control Prevention has banned most evictions across the country since September. The protection was slated to expire at the end of January, but President Joe Biden extended its first until April and later through June. Some 1 in 5 renters across the United States of America are struggling to keep up with their payments amid COVID pandemic. States are scrambling to disperse more than $45 billion in rental assistance allocated by Congress. The spokesman for the Department of Justice said it planned to appeal the ruling. It also seeks a stay of the decision, meaning the ban will remain in effect throughout the court battle. So there it is, guys. Let's see if they could overturn this or see what's happening, because I think they blew this whole pandemic out of the water. They blew it. They overproportionized it and made it worse than it was. Get the mail-in ballots, get Trump out of office, and then look how many people are suffering for this. Look at how many Americans are suffering because of this. So there it is right there. Tonight's big story. People are going to be, I think is it 8 or 18 million people? It's 1 out of 5. 1 out of 5. Recent study estimates there will be 1.55 million fewer evictions filed during 2020 than would be expected due to the eviction moratorium. So it's clear that it has a huge benefit, says Pasaki said. Housing advocates said that the national ban is necessary. So what do you guys think about this? I'm going to be taking in calls. Nearly 20% of renters in America are behind on their payments. The typical delinquent renter now owes $5,600, being nearly 4 months behind on their monthly payment, according to a new analysis. This also includes utilities and late fees. Sorry about that, guys. There it is right there. A total outstanding $57.3 billion owed in just more than 10 million renters. Eviction, okay, so it's about 10 million. Eviction is a serious possibility, wrote Mark Zandi and Jim Parrott. We'll send them all to Los Angeles. LA County, I think, has 185,000 empty units. That's a lot of empty units, man. Send some people there. All right, guys. Let's get some callers in. It's big tonight. This is a big story, guys. This is big. And there it is right there. There's the tweet. Cancelar la renta. And what else we got? Judge voids U.S. moratorium on evicting renters during the pandemic. So there it is. A federal judge on Wednesday. It goes back to what they said there. Then it goes on to say here at this part that with rental assistance secured, the economy strengthening, and unemployment rates falling, there is no need to continue a blanket nationwide eviction ban, the group said. The group has estimated 40 million Americans were behind on rent in January, with 70 billion missed payments at the end of 2020. So there's 40 million here. That is a lot. That's more than Canada's population right there. Right there. So there it is right there. And I kind of wanted to bring this up. Let's see who else is reporting on this. I'm not seeing too many news agencies reporting on this, which is very scary. This should be front and center everywhere. This instead, Donald Trump said something in a tweet, even though he's not president. Let's go ahead and talk about that and make that front page. Huffington Post has something here from 7 hours ago. Let's see what they're saying. Huffington Post is federal judge overturns national eviction moratorium. President Joe Biden has previously extended. Okay, we got this. It's the same story, pretty much. Different pack of different strain of diarrhea here. So let's go on. So there it is. There's not too many places reporting on this. And federal judge overturns eviction ban. Let's get people to call in and find out. Let's get Jacob, our security expert, to give us an insight on what he thinks is going to happen with this, because this is major. I think this is kind of a big deal. I don't know if this should be like headline news, but I think this is a big deal. Jacob's Skype is turned off. Let's see who else we got here. This is a major wager deal. Major wager. I want to get Dominic on, but he never has his Skype on. I wanted to call him. I just wanted to know what he thinks about this whole Dogecoin, because he loves Dogecoin. So, okay, he's not available. I want to get him to discuss Dogecoin with us, because he does love Dogecoin too. So just to get him to call, give us a little update. Okay, so we got Jacob. I think he's trying to call me now.
Mike, what's going on?
Federal judge overturns national eviction ban. 40 million Americans stuck in the cold. What's going on, Jacob?
Okay, so I talked to my cousin, who's a local sheriff's deputy just outside South Carolina, Raleigh, North Carolina. Mm-hmm. He's telling me, because we were talking about this maybe about 4 hours ago, right? So on their municipal level in the states, they have their own like private, sheriff's departments, right? It's like an elected police force. We don't have that up here in Canada, so it's totally foreign to us, right? So they're debating whether or not they're going to be able to enforce this. Because just as you said, there's 40 million people. That's more than lives in Canada. Are you going to evict 40 million people into the United States? Because that's going to cause a major security issue internally.
Well, this will lead to a major civil unrest.
Oh, unless it's manufactured this way. But do you think, even the mighty United States government is capable of making 40 million more homeless people in their own country? I don't see that as likely, particularly on the municipal level, because municipal law enforcement will just refuse to do it, as they have been doing for new gun laws and things like that are coming out in the United States. They're just refusing to enforce it. Mm-hmm. We're seeing that a lot, on the local level, because their law enforcement and security apparatus is quite a bit tiered. They have 18 agencies that go all the way up to the president, right? So if on the local level, if they refuse, what can be done? You'll either have to militarize the situation or just forget it. So that's like a safety measure that's put into the United States the way they're designed.
What if they did something like they did in the Soviet Union, where they'll take the people who are getting out or getting evicted and then putting them into a repossessed property?
Right.
And make it like they do in communist countries, where they just rotate the people through housing.
Right, which was a major factor right up until even post 1990. They were still doing this. But you know what they're doing in Russia right now? You can't rent your apartment in Russia. 9 out of 10 people don't live in a condo in Russia. They don't live in a house. Mm-hmm. You have to buy it. They want your money parked, is what they're doing. They're parking everyone's money in real estate in Russia right now. So you can't rent an apartment. You have to buy it. And if you don't have the down payment, it's just like rent. You have to pay it down and buy it. So they have no like application for it's rent to own is what it is in Russia. And we were like that here in Ontario in the 90s. They were trying to usher people, park your money in real estate so they could tax it and whittle it away and inflate it away until you have nothing. So we're going to have a bunch of sticks and bricks houses that are essentially worthless. You're telling me 18 times the amount of houses per like people in Canada. Does that even make sense to you? We're going to be like China, where we have these giant fake empty cities.
Well, we are already like China, but we don't see it because
we don't see it.
A different perspective. If you go back to that Better Dwelling article, for every one Canadian in Canada, there's 18 homes. That's right.
And where I am now, they're building a townhouse complex down the road. I don't know who's gonna buy it. So I went and asked and talked to him. He said, "Oh, they're sold already, and they're still pouring the concrete. Right? It's like not even built yet." And that wasn't a thing when you and I were growing up, right? Like you didn't buy a house that wasn't built. So who's buying these houses? We're essentially robbing somebody else that thinks this is a safe place to put your money. It's like the great robbery of these poor folks from like Hong Kong and things of that nature, trying to get their money out. They're going to bring it to Canada. We're going to rob them is what's happening. And folks we're all millennials, right? We're totally not even in the equation at all.
Well, of course.
We're getting to like 40 years old. 2/3 of Canadians own a house. That is BS. I know one married couple that owns a house because they bought it in the 90s.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Well, it depends what province you're in, though, right?
That's very true because you just showed in was it Montreal? It's still a realistic market out there.
4 years to save up for a detached home.
4 years.
And Vancouver was 32, right?
32 years. That's longer than a life sentence for murder.
Yeah.
In Canada, you do 25 years for a homicide. So it'd be cheaper to kill somebody than it would be just buy a house in Vancouver. Think about that for a second.
Wow, that's scary to hear. Okay, so we got buddy David Arujo brought up something. He says there's another reason for them to bring in UBI. Do you see UBI maybe triggering? Is this the way they could trigger in UBI? Sorry.
I'll tell you now. I'm already on UBI. I've been on unemployment insurance for 6 months. Right. This is a thing. Right. I'm sure many people I went to McGill University. I have a great resume right out of a Tom Clancy novel. No one's hiring. No one's interested. I couldn't even get a job at Jiffy Lube. They wouldn't even hire me there. So UBI is going to have to be a thing. Right. Or I'm going to be one of these homeless people with, a special set of skills that would make me not appropriate to have somebody like me on the street and fellas like us. Right. So it's going to have to. It's going to have to.
Well, California, LA County, they're saying 1 out of 11 homeless people, it's weird, not 1 out of 10, but 1 out of 11 have a college degree.
There is a gentleman in Los Angeles, and he is an American version of you, and I don't have his name right now, and he's all about housing, and I'll send you his link. And he's a small business owner in Los Angeles, and he's like, this is the apocalypse, essentially, in Los Angeles. Totally engineered and manufactured. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And now they cast an order in Los Angeles by September. All the homeless people have to be off the street, or they get paid. The city gets fined $10 million. We got
61,000 homeless people in LA County. 61,000 homeless
that they know about. That they know about. Now, I was in Los Angeles last year as applying for a job with Facebook. Believe it or not, the head of their security. Right. I saw 60,000 homeless people just with my own eyes, right? And I was there for 2 days. So I could just imagine what's really going on there. There could be 600,000. There's 40 million people live in California, right? More than all of Canada.
Right.
So you're telling me 60,000 people? That's what they could count maybe in LA County, right? Or just in Skid Row. Skid Row's like a place the size of a small town, and they usher all their homeless folks into this place, right? Mm-hmm. But you see them under every bridge, every nook and cranny. There's a homeless person there. Yes, and they're all intelligent people. Some of them never recovered from the .com crash 20 years ago. Mm-hmm. One guy I talked to, he had been homeless for 20 years, has a master's in engineering. They're just not interested, right? They're just not interested in that.
Yeah, this stuff is pretty dodgy and scary, if you ask me.
So I want you to remember the golden rule in security is nothing to scale is left to chance. So anything large scale, it's all meticulously engineered and planned out. It's the little variables that are random or unforeseen. But any large scale operation, everything is meticulously engineered.
Mm-hmm. Classical Cats has a good comment here. So somehow real estate, something you could touch and use, is overpriced. But yet crypto, something with zero intrinsic value, is not overpriced.
Right. Let's go with a very good thermometer is energy, fossil fuels and energy, right? All this nonsense about moving into green energy and all this. This is nothing more than a cash grab. Mm-hmm. They'll be making gasoline engines when you and I are gone. They'll be still making them.
Of course they will.
100%.
They have to.
They'll still be smoking people with their buy some solar panels for your house or whatever. That stuff is not recyclable or anything like that.
Yeah.
And they caught them. Yeah, and they caught their folks burying their giant windmills because those are not recyclable either. They dig holes and bury them when they wear out. Right? This is green energy? Are you kidding me? They tried this in the 30s. They had the New Deal in the 1930s, right? After the stock market crash.
In the late 18th century, in the late 18th, yeah.
That's right, after the American Civil War.
Yeah.
Right? Because they were both sides were bankrupted. They needed a distraction.
Yeah. Yeah, they always need distractions. Did you see the video I did today? I compared Canada to North Korea.
Yes. Particularly, my observations is the media apparatus. North Korea has 2 news channels. Canada has 4. Right. News channels, right? We all have a television studio in our pocket. So, but Canada has 4. North Korea has 2. That is the largest red flag you are ever going to see in your lifetime.
Well, but how come when you go on, I know we're going a little bit off that, but how come when you go on YouTube, RT or something comes up, it says this is funded by the Russian government, paid for in part or in full, but then in Canada they don't say that, even though it's paid for by our government.
Oh, of course you would never. There's no. Russians have a different constitution when it comes to legal representation. Mm-hmm. Legal representation means you have to identify who it is you work for, because they had lots of problems with mysterious people in Russia in years past, right? We've never had that. Canada is such a bubble security-wise because of our neighbors to the south that we could be essentially misrepresented or infiltrated in ways that we have never seen because we've never experienced that as a people, right? So you don't have to identify yourself in Canada. Even though people don't even introduce themselves anymore here. They don't say, hi, I'm Jake, hi, I'm Mike. We don't even say that when we talk to people. That's how vulnerable of a society that we are. Mm. We have intimate conversations with people. We don't even know their name, right? We're set up for the biggest scam in history. The biggest robbery ever is about to take place.
Well, another big robbery is this whole thing here where the article goes on to say the Center for Disease Control and Prevention has banned most evictions across the country since September. The protection was slated to expire at the end of January, but President-select Joe Biden has extended it first until April and later through June. Some 1 in 5 renters across the USA are struggling to keep up with their payments amid the COVID pandemic. So that's 45 million, roughly 50 million people.
Imagine this was your revenue stream. You were a landlord in the United States. What are you going to do? You had 35 houses and 4 of them were paying rent. This is the perfect storm, right? The Americans are being set up for the robbery of the century, right? Think about, like, New Zealand was a perfect little example because it's an isolated island. Australia, same thing. Canada was a little more porous. It didn't stop them here. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And if you and I tried to go to the States, it would be the Canadian government that stopped you from going there, not the Americans. They'll let you in. It's the Canadians that won't let you leave because they don't want us to talk, right? Americans know very little about Canada, right? So if we went down there and started telling them what happened, our sovereignty was absconded, they would not stand for it, right? But because we have 4 news channels here, 2 more than North Korea, it's all controlled. Nothing is left to chance here.
I love how they make up crap as they go along. It's so good.
Well, This is the Ocean's 11 of thievery going on here. It's just on every level infiltrated here, every level, and you're not even allowed to essentially speak. And you have, as you said before, our news channels don't even have to represent themselves. They don't even have to acknowledge who it is they work for.
And you know what's
right?
kind of funny about nowadays is people can't negotiate for themselves anymore.
Oh, absolutely not. Like I said, we're having conversations with people without identifying your name, right? I notice when I'm interacting with people out and about in the world, I don't say, hi, I'm Jake anymore, and they don't say, hi, I'm Mike. We just start having miniature conversations, right? This is a personal sovereignty security risk, right? Because you don't know who that person is that you're interacting. Personal sovereignty and personal security is where we need to have our headspaces at. Because we're talking about elusive infiltration, what is taking place financially. We're being robbed blind. We haven't felt our hyperinflation hasn't hit yet here.
Oh,
but
God. Hyperinflation, like people don't... Well, okay, hyperinflation, we're not going to see... We won't... Okay, there's a very slim chance we will see hyperinflation in the West because our currency is pegged to too many different economic branches.
Right.
Okay, but...
Please tell me more.
But now, we haven't seen... we've never experimented with these long-winded, low interest rates.
Right.
For as long as we have.
What I'm hearing is negative interest rates.
Okay, negative interest rates, the only way they could implement negative interest rates, Jacob, is if they go with cryptocurrency first, so people cannot remove a country, like a regulated cryptocurrency by your country.
Right.
I did put up the article the other day that Canada is looking to go fully cryptocurrency so the Canadian government knows where you're spending your money.
Right, of course they do. I don't know. I know not all your audience is from Canada, of course. A lot of them are from other places. If you notice here in Canada, most transactions already are being done with your debit card, your credit card anyways, right? They've slowly warmed you up to it, right? And what we're going to warm up to no cash. They're not going to ban cash. They're just going to not accept it at stores.
Well, let me explain what's going to happen. You're going to see interest rates, if they go negative, then that means they're going to extend this housing boom for another 10, 15, 20 years.
Right.
If they go
Which
negative.
Is possible.
They're going to be paying people to take mortgages out because that's how desperate they'll be. But the savers will be punished. So if you save your money, you're obviously going to pull your money out of the bank and buy gold. Well, now they're doing the long form income tax, and they're going to do long form census where they're going to ask you how much gold and how much metals and precious stuff you have in your home. And if you lie, they can come and confiscate it at any time.
In the 1930s, it was illegal to own gold in North America.
Yes,
it was illegal.
It was totally
100%.
illegal to own gold.
You had to turn it into the government, and they would give you paper for it, but you could not own gold.
And it was they dubbed it the forbidden metal.
That's right. And this was during a time where they had prohibited the consumption of alcohol.
Prohibition.
As in a distraction, right? A perfect distraction.
Mm-hmm.
And they stimulated economies like Chicago. Chicago was a little steel town like Hamilton. It was not a big metropolitan place. After 5 years of prohibition, it was the mightiest city in the United States.
Oh, there was huge. There was a lot of racketeering going on there. Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. But they cultivated this environment, right? They also made Canada rich, by the way. That's why we have all these control boards up here for liquor control, because the Americans pressured us to take control of our liquor because it was banned in the United States. It was just sneaking over into the border, making all these guys rich. Yeah. It was all under controlled conditions. Nothing to scale is left to chance.
Okay,
right?
So
Think about that.
We got here CNBC reporting nearly 20% of renters in America are behind on their payments. The typical delinquent renter now owes $5,600, being nearly 4 months behind in their monthly payment, according to a new analysis. This also includes utilities and late fees. I'm totaling an outstanding $57.3 billion is owed in just more than 10 million renters. Eviction is a serious possibility. So they're actually now here, let me tell you from my experience of reporting on some of this stuff, how it actually flows.
Right.
They bring it out. It gets turned down or approved or discussed in writing. then it gets turned down or approved in the court, then it gets taken back, then it goes back again, then it crosses the floor, then it gets reissued, and then it gets rediscussed again in the media, and then actually, boom, it happens out of the blue, and then the governments and everyone will say, well, we told you about this.
That's right. That's right. Because this isn't a new trick. It's an old trick with a new hat on it. This has all been done before, 100 years ago, and then 100 years before that, because we have these long cycles that are like 70, 80 years, right? Retooling cycles of the economy and the way we consume products and the way our demographics work. I think they call it a 70-year cycle or something like that.
I just got this in from I'm not going to say his name because he's a very, let's say, affluent official living in Ottawa, Canada, and he just sent me an thing. Mike, let your listeners know. 1, don't tell them who I am, but 2, let people know that Canadians buying and selling and trading cryptocurrencies may have to pay a hefty 60% tax on trades.
Oh, you betcha. Of course they would. That I'm surprised it hasn't happened already. And you know what I've been seeing, because I'm in a different community when it comes to security apparatus. I'm getting all these people from China asking me if I, pretending to be a woman, trying to ask me if I want to get into Bitcoin. I'm getting flooded with this in like Facebook and things like that, right? Because they're trying to not only warm us up to it to make it mainstream, but of course they want to track and tax everything, right? Just like when they legalized marijuana here, they made sure they had an apparatus built before they unleashed it on the populace, right? And by the way, I wouldn't be smoking any government marijuana if I was you. That was just not a thing.
Well, they put a bunch of chemicals in it, and
who knows what's in it? Unless you take a spinner to it and extract all the chemicals out and test them yourself, you have no idea what's in there. No idea. It could be corn and cyanide, for God's sakes.
Mm-hmm. So I'm just going through the article right now. I
got one for you.
What's that?
My cousin who's down in Carolina, he's a deputy, right? He makes $45,000 a year down there, and that's actually, they consider that good. Mm-hmm. A police officer up here in Toronto is $200,000 a year, right? Think of that for a second. $200,000 a year for a high school diploma job. And down there he's making $45,000 a year. He's not paying his rent. So do you think he's going to be forcing people out of their homes if he hasn't paid his rent in a year? It's just not going to happen. Mm-hmm. You're going to see all these little mini rebellions taking place, all under controlled conditions, because it'll justify further actions down the road or federal intervention. The Americans are being set up. They're being set up, and they got their sleepy Uncle Joe there at the wheel, right off a cliff.
Yeah, I know.
And we can't even warn them because they wouldn't listen to us anyways.
You're talking about the president-elect.
That's right. He's at the controls apparently, and they're being set up for this. They're gonna park all your wealth in real estate and rob us with inflation and on taxes and everything. Gone. Remember what that clown said out in Holland or whatever? You'll own nothing and you'll be happy.
Oh,
right?
yes. And then I think Justin Trudeau applauded that and says this is a great way to get things done.
Oh, they couldn't wait. I remember back in the 90s, I had a cousin of mine, and he was being groomed by that education program the Trudeau family started called Katimovik. Do you remember this? You remember hearing about that?
No.
Okay, well, what he was doing is he was crafting his cronies for later. This was in the 90s. Now, all these kids that were quote-unquote gifted were selected by him and invited to these basically socialist training camps. So he had his crew. And if you notice, all these Katimovik graduates are all his ministers and everything now. So he had his loyalists essentially, right? So he could push his agenda without opposition. How many people have left the Liberal Party of Canada and moved somewhere else? One. After all the nonsense that's happened here, one person defected. That's an insanity. Even Stephen Harper, I'm not a fan of him either, but even him, he had like dozens of people move out of his party, move across the floor, all this kind of stuff, right? Mm-hmm. This is a huge, huge red flag. This is like the hunt for Red October, but with real estate.
Panic boom!
Mm-hmm. Oh, and just for reference, a friend of mine who works in shipping, we're talking about that Evergreen fiasco that happened. This was a thumb straight on someone's jugular. Just to hold it up, right? Just to hold it up for a week. the shipping container companies, there's only 2 of them in the world, and they're both in China, by the way. They can't get steel to build new containers. So they're scouring the planet trying to find old ones and buy them back off of people, because you used to be able to buy them for nothing, right?
Yeah,
Stick 'em in your backyard.
$4,000 to $10,000 gets you one. You can build a house.
Mm-hmm. So what's happening now is they're trying to build new containers, but there's no steel. Where's all the steel? They can't get steel in China to build new ones, right? So we're talking like China would never actually recover from that. Just 6 days of the Suez Canal being blocked off, they'll never recover. Then, because it's all just in time, right? 6 days was more than enough time to totally paralyze the global trade system. Now, here in Ontario, the only thing you're allowed to buy now is food. You go into Dollarama or the grocery store, everything made in China is all blocked off because they have no replacements for it. They don't want to see empty shelves, right? It'll make people panic, right? All these boatloads of cheap goods from China are not coming back. China, we're just not going to get them.
Okay.
Totally paralyzed.
All right.
During this time, the United Kingdom has put 28 of their largest, most powerful combat vessels. They're sailing them to the South China Sea right now.
Yep, they left 2 in the morning this morning.
That's right. The largest fleet they put together since 1982 when they invaded the Falkland Islands.
Right, that was an illegal attack, but that's okay.
100% illegal. 100% illegal. It was merely an exercise with blood. That's what we say in the military. It was totally controlled. Like, no one cared about that dinky little island anyways, right? It's the middle of nowhere. But the largest fleet they put together since then is now in the water steaming towards the South China Sea. You tell me what's going on. The United States has 58 nuclear submarines in the South Pacific right now. 58.
Hold on. And Russia just launched several thousand unmanned submarines the other day.
Oh, absolutely they did. But those submarines are not for attacking people.
Unmanned submarines. I don't know what they're doing. I think they're like drone submarines.
Yeah, they're for detecting. They're for detecting and cutting cables and things of that nature. They're for hunting because American submarines are far more advanced than anybody else knows about. So they need to put out these cheap little probes to go and find them. Because the Americans have kept plugging on. They're far more advanced than like Russian and Chinese technology, right? Because they went unopposed for like 25 years, right? So they're searching for American submarines because they're terrified of them, and they should be. They only need one, and that's enough, right? We're about to see a crisis in the South China Sea, World War II style. We're going to have a naval battle out there. It's going to be under controlled conditions, of course. So if NATO is this big thing, how come only the Americans and the British have sent their fleets out there? Because NATO's finished. We're back to colonialism style now. Yeah, of course. And, Canada, we have 18 vessels. So we're totally militarily insignificant, of course, by design.
Wow.
We couldn't defend the West Coast. We don't have enough Navy to defend one coast. We have 3 of them, right? Because our security apparatus is purely for political purposes only. So we could say we contributed to this conflict or that, but we have no real way to defend ourselves. Because we're not a police state. So a lot of people are worried about this police state here in Canada. We're not capable of it. That takes generations to build. They didn't have a police state in Russia until the 1970s, really, right? And that was after 1917. Then it took them that long to have everything under lockdown, really. That's after purges and on and on and on.
Death lists.
So we're being set up here, and if you're like a millennial like myself, the system doesn't serve you, so don't get involved. Sit back and let them handle it, right? It's not worth your blood for that, right? They're going to try and drag us into this nonsense. If you own a house, and I would sell it, unless you want to live in it, right? Because I'm out here on the outside end of Toronto, and for sale houses or signs are going up with sold on it already. You know what I mean? How they have the little sign, they put the little sold thing on top of it. They're putting up the sign with sold on it already. I don't know what the purpose of that is, but I guess it's legal matters, right? They have to legally say that they advertised it.
Interesting.
A friend of mine, he sold his house in 45 minutes. in Toronto. 45 minutes. It was gone.
But how is this possible with this massive COVID sickness, this massive forbearance where people are getting money and stimulus, and everyone I know is either not working or they're home. Like they're home.
That's right. When was the last time you were sick?
I don't know how it's possible.
When was the last time you were sick? Had the flu, a cough, anything. Right?
Yeah. But you know what? Again, it goes back to the last week's show.
A cavity even.
$41 billion brought in from Hong Kong in 2020.
Here, just for 1 year, and that's a slow year.
Did you see that show?
I did. Well, what
41 billion, and America's crying over $11 billion.
What happened in 2012? I bet you it was 100 billion. What happened in 2013, right? They want to give you a lean year and close recent history for you to look at. Well, this is stuff that they know about, right?
Well, I said they found $211 laundered, $211 billion laundered for a couple of years, but that's just laundered. That's not legitimately brought in.
And that's what they found, right? Yeah. That could be 10%. We could have been looking like at, $1 trillion.
And that's why it goes back to for every one Canadian, there's 18 homes available.
Lumber shortage. Canada has, 1 million trees for every person. Mm-hmm. There's a lumber shortage. Okay, I'm just going to look at my backyard here. I can see, 200 trees, and I'm in a town. But there's a lumber shortage.
Yeah, but here's the deal with the lumber shortage. Did you watch last week's Mike in the Night?
I did.
Did you see the trail? All those yards full of lumber?
Full. That's right. We're hoarding lumber like it's gold. You know what I mean? Like, what is going on here? If this was a company that I worked for, I'd be calling emergency meetings. I'm like, we've been infiltrated. We have a major security problem here, and until we figure out what this is, we have to shut everything down. Mm-hmm. We have to shut everything down until we find out what is going on here, because absolutely all of our systems are being paralyzed one after another. And if you had lots of money, like I'm broke. I used to be rich, believe it or not. But if I had lots of money, I'd be very, very worried right now, because people with money have lots of things to lose. Yeah. Right. But if you're broke, they don't really have much more than they take from you, really.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. If you're poor or you're broke or something, then you have nothing to lose anyway. You could fight back, right?
Right. Or they'll leave you alone, maybe. Right. Yeah. If you have assets, or even you're going to go buy a pickup truck. Look at this guy I know is trying to buy a pickup truck. 96-month lease on a pickup truck. 96 months. That's like 9 years. Imagine paying off your 9-year-old pickup truck, still paying for it. That's insanity.
Then if it's a lease, you still have to buy it back.
Oh, they'll take it at the end. They'll take it and sell it to somebody who's broke for $7,000 or whatever, and make money off it again. Mm-hmm. Absolute insanity. Absolute insanity. Remember, you told me like a year ago when we were talking, like, Jake, buy a car for like $3,000-$4,000 and just be done with it, right? Because it's like anything else, you're going to get hosed, right?
Well, you buy a car for $3,000-$4,000 in 5 years, you could probably sell that same car back for $3,000-$4,000.
Exactly. And there's you buy something new, unless you got cash for it right away and that's your favorite car and you love it, you're going to get screwed. You will get hosed in every direction. So this is not the time.
Anarchy in the comments is saying woke and broke is the new trending position.
Well, it's the mandatory position, and he's right, because you don't have a choice, right? I got one for you. My grandfather, when he was my age, he was already a grandfather, right? Mm-hmm. And all the folks that are my age, you're not quite included, because you're an entrepreneur and you're responsible, self-taught, by the way, which I really, really envy. Mm-hmm. I'm living in a basement apartment like I'm 16 years old again. It's amazing. My grandfather was already a grandfather, at the same age. Like, what is going on here? Right? I couldn't even get a job at Jiffy Lube there to change oil on cars. This is the perfect storm that everyone was talking about in 2009-10. It's here. It is right here. And your big red flag is that big Joe Biden face. He doesn't even know where he's at. That's like elder abuse. We should feel sorry for him instead of hating him. He probably doesn't know. They probably frightened him and get out there, Joe. Da, 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 da. You know what I mean? He's like, was he 79, 82 years old or something like that?
Yeah, I don't
Come
even
on.
know. Yeah.
Come on. This is a very sad state of affairs. and we'll be able to blame the Kung flu for years and years to come. It'll be this invisible.
No. They're going to blame Donald Trump.
Oh, of course they will. You know, I find that very interesting. He was there long enough to cement all of their long-term trading partners. They went from 130 trading partners when he got in to 5. That's Canada, Mexico, United Kingdom, and Japan and South Korea. Mm-hmm. They don't trade with anyone else anymore because they've gone colonial is what they've done, right? And all the big sovereignty issues, security issues, none of that is changing. The wall, they're finishing the wall. The next one's going up here, guaranteed. They're going to build a wall across Canada, right? That'll be the next one because they are going full protectionist.
It's not to stop Americans from. It's to stop Canadians from fleeing to America.
Oh, 100%, because we're not done being shaken for change yet. You know, we got our. I know it's $65 a barrel for gasoline, but down the street there, it's $1.32. That does not make sense. Mm-hmm. That means a drum of gasoline is $500. No, it's $65. We're being absolutely robbed for every last penny. Every last penny. In Perfect, they put in something called a carbon tax so they can dial it in and dial it out. And when I was in the Philippines, I saw that because their fuel subsidized. Mm-hmm. So they could always keep fuel around the same price. They could always like dial it back. Here we just call it a carbon tax. It has nothing to do with tax. It's to keep prices under their control.
Right.
And we're, $1.30 a liter. We're the wealthiest oil country on this side of the planet, even more than the United States. And the United States is selling oil now. They're selling it to Venezuela. Also an oil rich. Does any of this make sense to you? But it's all true. Mm-hmm. Absolute insanity. We're looking at it'll be like Escape from New York, Escape from LA. Remember those movies?
Yeah.
That's the Amerifornia that you're talking about. The only
I love
border
Amerifornia.
We wouldn't like it if we were Americans.
No, I'm just kidding.
Right?
No, because we're already Amerifornia in Canada.
Yeah, we're already there.
We're there.
Right? We're already there. We're
32
paying 54%
years to save up to buy a house.
USA. Sentence just to save up to buy a. That's not a house. That's a condo, right? Or is that a detached home? Like it just absolute insanity. You go to the other side of the planet, you buy a house for $50,000, buy a mansion, building a house in the Philippines, right, Mike?
$6,000 is my budget.
That's right. I rented a 7,000 square foot home for $200 a month.
Mm-hmm. With a pool.
7,000 square feet. Yeah, with a pool, absolutely. $200 a month. But they protect their assets there because foreigners aren't allowed to buy, right? So they could keep their real estate market for their own people, which was
Nielsen
brilliant.
is telling me in the comments that Mike Martins, check out the shortage of semiconductors used in new car manufacturing, a 35 cents to produce. That is actually a big deal. That we are having a massive shortage on chips and semiconductors. And Ashima in the comments, Ashima was saying earlier. What did she say? Let me go back here. What is she saying? She said something here big.
Well, this is why everyone's getting their catalytic converters out of their cars stolen.
Yeah, in LA County, they're getting about 60 to 90 of them stolen every day.
That's right. Out here as well. You just go out and start your car up. It sounds like a Harley Davidson because someone cut off your because the precious metals. See, what we did is we parked all that technology in Taiwan so as a way to protect their sovereignty, right? Mm-hmm. They're going to make a move on Taiwan. Probably going to happen this year.
Well, yeah.
If it's not happening already.
The second that the new president-elect was elected or selected in America, you could kiss Taiwan goodbye. Well,
I'll tell you right away, when it comes to security and military matters, the president doesn't really have a say. They have something called the Joint Chiefs of Staff.
Right.
And that's about 12 generals, and they can outvote him. They outvoted him in Iraq. They're like, no, George W. Bush. They're like, no, we're going to war in Iraq. And you're going to plug it till the day you die. And that's just a thing. He didn't even know what Iraq was because he had never left the United States. Can you believe that? He never left the United States. He still never has.
Really?
George W. Bush, he's never left the United States.
Oh.
Because it's not safe.
Yeah.
It's not safe for him. His father bathed in blood, believe me. Head of the CIA and da-da-da-da. He was the American Putin is what he was.
We got his Grindhouse Cartoons, that is Dano, saying they stole my son's catalytic converter last summer.
Exactly, because there's like $500 or $600 of platinum and precious metals inside it.
Rhodium.
Yeah, rhodium. That's right. And catalytic converters BS, by the way. It does nothing. It's just
it's supposed to resonate.
Furnace.
No, it just slows your car down. If anything, it plugs it up.
Yeah, exactly. It's just a little mini furnace halfway down your exhaust. It's totally pointless.
Mm-hmm.
You can do everything's fuel injected now, right? So you could just fucking, pardon my French, program your fuel any way you want,
mm-hmm.
right? So the superconductor shortage, this comes from the Suez Canal crisis because everything's just in time. We'll never recover from that. That was a thumb right on the jugular vein of the world trade system.
Mm-hmm.
And 6 days was more than enough to cause permanent damage to it. More than enough. You got these guys driving around now, Canada, the United States, buying old shipping containers and painting them because they can't build them because they can't get steel. Because where does the steel come from? It comes in shipping containers. It's like a truck drivers will tell you, everything comes on a truck, even trucks come on trucks, right? It's absolutely critical. You can't, these are the things that you can't mess with unless it's done on purpose. To cripple someone's sovereignty, paint them into a corner and force them to lash out. We were being set up for some kind of military campaign.
Wow.
The foreign minister in the Philippines is swearing at China on national TV. This is the perfect storm is here.
It is. It's going to be a very interesting summer, so to say, the summer of 2021.
Right. It has been very interesting already since 2020, right? But I think that we're looking at longer term, like 2030, mm-hmm. if we ever go back to what we thought was normal at all. See where we're headed?
I know where we're headed,
you're
and
the
I'm just trying to kind of let it trickle down my mind here a bit. And we need to find solutions, big time, big time.
Right.
It's the leadership is just really poorly. We need to upgrade our management. That's what we need. Big time.
That's exactly. In the dying days of Kmart and Eaton's, by the time they decided to redo all their executive management, it was too late. And they hired all these experts, came in, and what they did is they just locked the door and handed the keys to the shareholders and said, there you go, saved your company, because it was already like 10 years too late to save them.
Right.
Do you remember that Zeller and Kmart and all those guys? They were all eaten up by Walmart, right? Yeah. They're just annihilated. And by the time they saw the writing on the wall, it was already too late. Because those big systems, they can't turn on a dime. It takes time. They're big wheels, big systems. And when you make a change, it takes a long time for the wheel to come around and for you to feel the effect of it.
It took forever for the Roman Empire to fizzle out.
That's right. And did you know the Roman Empire was actually a republic for less time than the United States was?
Oh.
The Roman Empire was only a republic for about 80 years, and it was an empire for like 500 years.
Mm-hmm.
The Americans have been a democratic republic longer than the Romans have. So they're in uncharted territory when it comes to democracy. Because democracies tend not to last that long, historically speaking. And by the end, the gold coins in Rome were made out of copper.
Well, they had to take the gold out of everything, right?
That's right. And they were handing out Roman citizenship to ox and horses. The last citizens of Rome were horses.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
That used to be a privilege, and at the end, it was nothing.
Yeah. Yeah, it was worthless. It's like getting your black belt after 2 weeks of taking karate.
Right. Or you just buy it, right?
Mm-hmm.
I found that funny because you take your martial arts, you go to the martial arts store. I'm like, I could just buy it. Okay, I'll take 2 of them.
I'm a 2-dan black belt, and I bought 2 belts.
I thought that was funny. I always got a kick out of that one.
All right, Jacob, we're gonna let you go. We've been talking for 41 minutes.
Oh, sorry. It's my favorite subject. So
no problem. We'll get you on Mike of the Night when you get a chance. And this Mike of the Night, I don't even know. We're just gonna wait till Friday to see what's happening before we're gonna talk about what's gonna happen.
Oh, absolutely. Okay, all right. I'm here if you need me.
God bless you.
Cheers.
Bye. That is Jacob, an expert in security. Let's call Fruity Loops here.
Hadouken! Hadouken!
Okay, where is Fruity Loops? I missed his call. He called me. I missed his call, and he's not picking up his phone. Let me just say hello. I just don't want him to think I'm avoiding him or anything. So I want to get. Let's see what we can get on the show here. Jacob was a good caller, man. He got a lot of important information to share with us, and it all stems to what we're talking about tonight. So here it is, guys. Federal judge over. There's. Okay, buddy, you're on the show. Federal judge overturns national eviction ban. What is going on in America?
I'm not really sure. I got a good idea of what's going on.
Tell us.
You see the copper?
The price of copper?
Yeah, and basic materials with sheet metal, because you could build different types of style houses. You got some 3D printers were going up back in the day with they can print houses,
right?
And that kind of just, I don't know. I never ordered one of those things. It's just so expensive to make, So that was a good idea. But you could do other different types of building. Plus, I think the thing about the copper is it's going to be a infrastructure. A lot of unions will be overtired probably from overworking if they're going to be getting more. I don't know. Hopefully the infrastructure goes to infrastructure. I see a lot of child care credit. They're giving people, if you have a kid, you get 10 grand a kid or something. Wow. If you got 5 kids, you're getting a $50,000 tax credit. I mean, it's beyond my mind how that goes with infrastructure.
Okay, let me ask you something. Mm-hmm. You're in the States. How many people are in forbearance or getting support? Because we got 50 million people here that will be looking like they're going to be homeless now that the federal judge overturns national eviction ban. This is actually very important, and if you don't know much about this, then this is something we should talk about, because this is a major deal, because we're looking at 50 million of Americans at risk of losing their homes.
Nobody's gonna get kicked out.
Okay.
They're not. That's not gonna happen. The only thing we questioned yesterday was rates, and that was like Yellen's getting a little too old.
Mm-hmm.
She was in the admin finance, so she controls the interest rates. If the interest rates, they see inflation go higher, they jack up those rates. They drop them up maybe 50 bips, with like 50 up that much, maybe even more than that. Go above $1 more. Mm-hmm. Now you're in the 4%, 5%. You can still have a good purchase market, but the house market and decrease inflation pull down the whole index, and everything would go along with it. Now gold would probably go higher because of the uncertainties. That's why I think the metals like copper is, I think, at $4 an ounce. I think right now realistically you could get that to double with the amount of production. Maybe they have the next shortage. You got to look for the next one. So lumber was that, we called that a long time ago. That's been, if you would have bought lumber like toilet paper, you'd be big,
Oh, yeah. But we're going into lumber wars. Are you seeing the price of food skyrocketing?
Yeah, well, even on your video, you showed you spent $100 and you had some cheese and some crackers. And pretty much you get your milk, but that's the story. Is people are getting they're getting hit with some type of higher. We're not all in business to sell fruit, but I guess That's why the real estate, like I said that a long time ago too, the real estate was going to go higher in America, and you can't get a property. Okay, if it was on the market for like a year already, and all of a sudden last week you called, now somebody else is on it. They already get their contract. Um, so the houses that have been sitting there for a long time, they're gonna sell, and then you're just gonna have relocation of different demand areas.
Mm-hmm.
Probably, uh, farmers getting bought up, but there's still good deals, and it's literally impossible though. I mean, I'm checking out, so I'm gonna be doing. I got some. I guess they say they're foreclosures,
Mm-hmm.
but there's really not even that many. There's a couple of websites that they call them short sales. So back in 2007, we had like a larger amount of short sales, or after Puerto Rico, the storms, or even in Texas, wherever those storms destroyed the properties, some were sold in portfolio, sold at 10 or 20 of them at a time,
Mm-hmm.
and somebody could buy them at a discount. So those did happen. I don't see this as they have it under the Stanford Act, and it's basically nonsense. It's like what Bush did for martial law.
Mm-hmm.
He just made an executive order. I don't really appreciate any of these executive orders. And our military does run things, but I mean, this we're not we're not a military state. Fortunate for us, but the military's when everything happens for a reason. So let them drive up copper, and they're going to be want to expand their facilities too. I don't even. The thing is, we getting all this money spent. We don't have no idea. We're already up the such a large amount, and we'd have no idea what it was spent on. The last caller said, the guy can't even walk up the stairs, and he's issuing all this money so quick. The game, from what I've been seeing, is they're gonna just make it okay. Even if you go on the U.S. debt clock, if you type in 5-year projection on what the debt amount is, and it's up exactly those levels, saying $50 trillion in debt in the next couple of years.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to double, but it's just going to, we're spending $6 trillion every 6 months or a year. I mean, come on, we're going to be spending $20 for a gallon of milk, so.
Well, it's going to have to catch up. Something's going to have to make some balance. Has to come in I don't know how, but balance is going to have to. Inflation's going to start creeping up on every angle, and people are going to start getting hit. So, what do you think of Dogecoin? Dogecoin joke is turning serious. The latest crypto binge.
Yeah. So Elon, he's been posting like indiscreet tweets. If you follow him on his tweets. So he posts all different types of, like, he does like post and deletes, but he had that SNL Doge father tweet,
Mm-hmm.
and he's got the largest I think financial following, just because he started PayPal. And if you look at PayPal right now, it's up about like $7-8. Tomorrow should be all right. They have good numbers. People love to hold that because of the online retail section has been, your business, it probably grew from eBay. So you've been seeing the online purchases go higher, and those online platforms have been charging more in fees. So they're up right now. I would do a continuation play. So something like this would be a UPS. You buy it the day of the report, and then you hold it. So PayPal, it was good back like, half the price. It was good. I liked it then. I still like it on a continuation today. It's up. And your business is, you're lucky, because I'm sure people, it depends in what areas. Like So I wasn't able to answer the phone for like a week because I was in New York City. I was staying there, and I went on. I just went on like a random, like, just to see out the whole area, and it was just weird. Like, people chase you down over your mask, you know. And I was like, little West Indies lady. I was like, you better chill out with this Gestapo thing, you know.
Forget about it.
I couldn't handle it. So I'm trying to, you know, I'm doing these foreclosures right now in the outer skirts, more down, I guess, by the water in residential areas, not in condos. So maybe I get some, you know, summer money. That'd be nice. You know, I'm trying to, yeah, because I told you about even the property you have. To purchase it, you just have to put like 20, maybe 30% down, and you finance it with no documentation. No, you know, you do like a no document just to verify the asset. You put 30% down. That's it, and it's a quick, simple deal. So yeah, that's what my company does. That's what we're doing right now. If I can do, you know, I would sell it as like $1 million house. You know, try to, I guess, forecast the way that the markets are going now. If all things stay constant and they, you know, remain keeping rates under 2%,
Yeah.
I think it'll be fine. Yeah, I mean, that's whatever. It's a utility too. It's, you know, I said back months ago, said that the Bitcoins were a great hedge. I didn't say let it go to. I did say there was a possibility to go like 100,000 or whatever. And I just don't. I don't see it as a utility with Dogecoin going up to 65. I see it more of Elon's already been cautioned for his manipulation in the past. And you see his regular stock is just fell off because he's it's probably a good short right now. I'd short it back down maybe 200 bucks. The thing is it's not keeping up. It's not giving forecasts on future guidance. People were expecting to get numbers and not, and he's more focused on Dogecoin. I mean, yeah, he probably made like a couple $1 billion from buying it at a penny and then telling everybody else to buy it after him. You know, and Dom would call that front running, which is true. It's like insider. You're basically pushing your inside position. So, but he has a habit of doing that. He's done that in the past. So let it go for what it is. It's like a game, and that's how we classify it as an asset. It's a gambling asset. And, you know, if you put your money in, don't expect to get it back. But if you get more, well, that's why I said it was a hedge. But it's proved to be not correlated to anything in the market. It's just correlated to, you know, manipulation. So people can say, hey, everybody follow me. I'm not buying it on, you know, fundamentals. I mean, there is a technical because it has a chart, an algorithm, but the algorithm isn't correlated to anything in the market.
Right.
And it hasn't been proven.
Everything that meant anything or any of the logic that we learned, you could take that and throw that right out the window because none of that matters anymore in this crazy
market. But I
market.
told everybody to buy it, though. The best part about it, I was right. It's up 25,000% in 6 months. I mean, I should be getting super chats, you know, for 100 for a large coin. But we were right on those, and it, you know, again, it was nobody was seeing it as a utility. 65 cents. I mean, Dogecoin's going to. They want it to go to $1.50. It's going to go. It's nothing stopping it in the interim. So it'll go, and you know, whether or not it's an asset, and we'll see. You know, I think this XRP lawsuit is a big deal. You know, I read the court case. It's about is it traded as a security? So I more or less I don't think they should want it as a security because it would be more of they should peg it close to $1 so that it has an actual value comparable to the dollar and not turn it into these other things. There would be more use of it in a utility as if they would turn XRP into the standard. So there's a lawsuit over the security Is like question, is it a security or is it can it be a digital standard? Which I think it'll prove to be a digital standard,
Well,
like
yeah, that's yeah.
digital coin.
Listen,
All right.
I want to throw something out there. So somebody asked me what the riskiest stock I own. What is the riskiest stock I own? AA is the riskiest stock, and I think it's hit bottom. And I want to share this with you guys. We don't give financial advice. This is a company that I've been following and researching and doing my own stuff with. And this company signs a letter of intent to acquire high-grade gold mine property in Acapente, Mexico. Now, what is this company? Well, this company, it's called Asia Broadband, but the company is actually a cryptocurrency company that's backed by actual physical gold. And I've been following this company now for about 7 months. And I've been reading everything about these guys and what they have to offer and what they... This is the only backed cryptocurrency, in my opinion, that makes any sense. 15 days ago, Asia Broadband advances gold mine property purchase negotiations with mapping and rock sampling. And then they're doing a lot. And I think this stock, it's cheap. And I think... Fruity Loops, I want you to write it down. The ticker, it's on the NY. It's an American stock. It's trading for and the ticker is AABB. Take a look at it. Look at their business model. It actually makes sense in the whole crypto sphere of things. This
is on the NASDAQ.
Yeah, it's a AABB. You'll see it there, sitting there.
Yeah, 4 symbols. I know. That's a pretty cool symbol, though.
AABB, guys. Just look at it. Do your own research. I'm not telling you to buy anything. But this stock actually makes sense of what they're actually doing with the company. It makes absolute sense.
Yeah. I still have, even though I said to buy the coins as a hedge, I still haven't even gotten my Coinbase account open yet. And I've been saying this since like 2010, before Coinbase was even around. I was supposed to buy the crypto off of it's like a message board, and then I couldn't figure out. Back then it would have been amazing, but yeah, I really don't think these things are gonna, whether they peg them on a gold standard. I just think they're like a gambling asset. So we can say it could go to whatever, $100,000, but the thing is, it can't be classified as a security because it's not. So it shouldn't be, the value should, like, they shouldn't be on CNBC comparing Dogecoin $82 billion valuation to GM and Ford. It just doesn't make sense.
No, it does not make sense.
Yeah, so they're getting a news cycle for free right now. So
yeah, they're getting free advertising is what it is.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, listen, Fruity Loops, I gotta let you go. I gotta get Ashima off on the show before I log off.
Yeah, buddy.
I'll get you on soon again. We've been talking for a while. I'll get Ashima on to wrap up the show.
Eventually, okay? I'll get some of these coins. You know, they're gonna have new coins that are gonna come out. They'll be a penny, and then they'll go to $1. We'll get the next ones. So I appreciate you, Mike.
Please look at AABB for me and let me know what you think.
Yeah, I won't forget. I'll let you go, and I'll talk to you guys next time.
Ciao.
All right, later.
All right, let's call Ashima and wrap up the show tonight. It is ringing. No one's answering. Not available. She is not available. Let's try one more time. There it goes. Oh, nobody home. Let's try again. I know she's seeing my messages. Hey, Ashima, how you doing?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I could hear you perfectly.
Yeah. My phone was just like my Skype was. Here I am.
Okay, lower your. I think it's your TV
Yeah,
that's
I'm
on.
gonna do. Yes. I'm just decreasing the volume there. It's so nice to be here after a long time,
So tell
Mike.
us, you've been talking about the banks are buying up. American banks are buying up treasuries, bonds, buying up assets. Asset
No,
sheets
not
are
the
going through the
banks.
roof.
Not the banks. The Fed.
Federal. Sorry.
They're buying.
That's
Yeah,
what I
they're
meant to say.
buying
Yeah.
$120 billion every month since last year, right?
Yeah.
$120 billion. So 80 plus 40, right? 80, they're buying assets, $80 billion every month, and 40 billion, they're buying mortgage-backed securities. Why are they buying mortgage-backed securities when the markets are going crazy on real estate? Why?
I covered that almost a year and 2 months ago. I don't know if you remember
Yes, I
that
remember when
video
we
a
came
year
in,
and
they
two, almost
started
a year,
buying.
3 months ago, where markets are crashing. Sell now,
Yes,
and
but that was then, Mike. Even now they are still, they've not stopped the asset buying program.
mhm,
Mike, the problem is they don't want to stop printing because they've got this debt and now they have to service this debt. And you know what's been happening in the repo markets? It started off again past 2 3 days. Everybody wants to sell. Everybody wants to sell the bonds, right?
mhm.
The treasury bills and bonds. So lots happening. There is no reason behind it, Mike. First of all, they call S&P standard and poor. They already know to make us poor,
Mhm.
right? That's how it's named, standard and poor. Why? Because they just transfer, like, they say that energy is never created. It's just transferred from like kinetic energy, from potential to kinetic to whatever energy, right?
Mhm.
Same way, they just transfer wealth. And these guys just trick us into it. And now they want to take away our rights. The bill C10, that's what they call it in Canada.
Yeah.
They've been fighting for it. They just want to take our voice away. They don't want, and already they've stopped. They started with Trump and they want to silence all of us. They don't want any one of us to talk anything. They don't even want us to revolt. They don't want us to see anything, right?
Like
And
Justin Trudeau said in his own words that China is a great country. It has great communist roots. It gets things done.
yeah, see, that's it. So these guys want us to. So don't you think we've already become communist? I mean, like, look at US, a left guy. He's a leftist.
Mhm.
We all know Biden is a leftist. I mean, like, look at his son. He's invested in financial companies in in China, which are held by the government of China. Have you ever seen him talking about China? And Mike, imagine my, like my country and China probably, or any country, or any two countries sit, and one says the world thinks that is what you are, and China tells them, since when did USA think that they are the world? And this happened in Alaska. You can just switch on the video. You can probably see
Mhm.
what they spoke. And they're like, what Biden? I think he's got some chronic disease, right? I don't know.
Mhm.
And he's gonna
I
go.
actually really feel sorry for the guy sometimes. I really do.
Oh gosh, Mike, he's just lost it completely,
Mhm.
right? And now Trump is there every day, something or the other about Trump. And look at these guys, Twitter, Facebook, they want to ban him. Just look at it. Why don't they just do what they have to do? And then, Mike, just tell me, okay, forget about everything.
Mhm.
Why do you think has Fed printed? Can you access that capital even through your bank? Are you getting any of the capital which has been, printed or given to the banks? They've been liquidated. All the banks have been liquidated. Can I access it?
No.
The banks have been told to be on their guard. They're not supposed to lend to anyone. And I'm not talking of you and I, even the HNIs, they're not getting anything from the banks. So the problem is the productivity of the world is not increasing. It's only the money supply which is, but that is also through the Fed. And maybe the dollar goes down in the near future. That's why they keep on saying. That's why every time,
Well, they want a
Jay
weak
Powell
dollar.
comes,
They want to have a
no,
weak dollar to purposely have more attractive
they
exports.
don't
But if you're
want to
not exporting anything, what's the point?
Yeah, but Mike, you see, they are exporting the dollar to the world.
Mhm.
That's what we have to understand. That's the milkshake theory that you hear every time, right? Because everybody, all the nations in the world, when they have to actually service their debts, they need the US dollar. So they had to drop it off. Otherwise, everybody would have debunked. Nobody wants the US dollar in the world, Mike. They only wanted to service the debt.
Well,
And
here's the
US
deal.
is the dollar till everybody wants it, right? Nobody wants to produce anything in US. They've resourced the factory of the world is China now,
Mhm.
right? And nobody else can compete with them.
Well, the problem is the
They
reason why we
won't.
can have factories here. I was talking to somebody who used to have a honey production, like honeybee production factory, over on
Mhm.
on Tycho Street there in Toronto. I don't know if you know where that is, but there's a production boulevard there in Toronto. It's called Tycho's, and they had a big honey production. And the reason why they got shut down, or they shut down, is not because people stopped buying honey, is because the cost of operating a factory is so expensive because they want to charge you carbon tax, carbon credits. They want to start charging you so much crap, so this way they could push your work or your production to China. And they did it in many ways across America and Canada, where they pushed Canadians out of their business purposely and taxed them to death so that the Chinese could get their hands on it, because they have no regulation, no green laws, no nothing.
Mike, this is only one example you're giving me.
Hmm.
I know personally of hundreds of factories. I can tell you of potato production, or potato storage factory. I can tell you of a greenhouse which is closed, which is on a big large scale. They found some fungus in BC. In
Hmm.
BC, they found a fungus from some vegetables produced here in the greenhouse, and they shut it off.
Yeah, they have
And
to,
that
because
person has
we
just
need to
shut it
start
off.
getting
Everything is shut
plantaroni
off.
from China.
And then now China is exporting inflation to the world, right? It's all that transportation, everything else is being exported to the world from China. Everything is becoming expensive.
Hmm.
Why? And this is not what China is doing, Mike. Mike, we have to stop looking at China the way it is. We have to understand that China is these guys work together. You can't separate China from US and Canada. They all together in inch, they're all in the bed together, Mike.
Hmm.
They don't want to think about a common man. Why do you think China? If they had guts, I mean, US had guts, they could have just stood up and said, "Excuse me." They did not. They went to this Alaska summit and they came back like little mice
Hmm. The
because they
Alaska
got
Summit was
see.
an absolute failure for the
Yeah,
Americans.
that's what they said, right?
Total
That's what they
failure.
told Americans. Yeah, they said since when? China openly told them since when is USA the world? USA can't do anything because China is the holder of the largest amount of debt of US.
Hmm.
And if they come out and openly sell all that US debt, US is nothing today. And if they create their own digital currency, they'll never do it because they're all scared of it. They work as a cartel, Mike. What do you think? Why do you think they print the US dollar in the first place? When China needs the US dollar, they call up the Fed.
Hmm.
They're all hand in glove. There's
My
nothing
favorite
called,
part,
look.
my favorite part is you buy a car. You know the people selling you the car know you can't afford the car. You default after 6 months on the car. They take that bad debt, go back to the Fed, and they buy debt swap buybacks, so they get.
Absolutely. That's what's happening right now. That is the 80 plus 40 billion. What else is it? Every month? What now? Where is the corona now? And then they say the economy is doing very well. The stock market's been going up. So why is this being put in? Put money in the market is equal to inflation. There's no definition of inflation. Inflation is the money, excessive money in the markets.
Hmm.
And that's what they're doing, Mike, right?
Hmm.
Just putting inflation in the markets. So
Well,
I
you
don't
you
know
know
what's.
you know what we've said it many times here on the show. America's number one export is inflation, right?
Yes, and this is the way that US goes on with the world, Mike. Very soon they're very soon on a downtrend.
Hmm.
It's just not US or any country which you see, Mike. Whatever you might say, the result of bad cannot be good. On the name of poor people, you've heard Janet Yellen, you've heard Powell. On the name of poor people, okay, tell me, you're just giving 1,400 what additional care or whatever, but that is not equivalent to the amount of trillions that you've printed.
Mm-hmm.
And then you are printing much more, 3 trillion on the name of some what infrastructure bill in which
Okay, hold on,
you
hold
see
on,
the
hold your
finance.
horses here. Nearly 20% of American renters in America are behind on their payments, and the judge this morning overthrew the extension of forbearance. So it looks like Americans have been behind on rent. And what do you think is going to happen with that? Because I'm thinking this is
Transfer
going
of
to
wealth.
be
Transfer of wealth.
this is
So
going
this
to
is
be
all going to be
huge.
bought up by BlackRock or whoever. That was the first. Whose Federal Reserve gave the authority to these people to buy these assets from the open market, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they bought Apple, and then Federal Reserve had to come and say why. They asked him, why do you think you have to buy Apple? He said, we can't be unfair to the companies in America,
Mm-hmm.
so we have to be fair, and we must distribute this buyback program to whatever asset buying program through BlackRock for all the companies of USA. That was
Mm-hmm.
the biggest fraud under the earth. And mortgage-backed securities, why? And who accesses that inner circle? Who? Only the top banks and these companies, Freddie, Faye, Mercury, all these Freddie, Fannie, and whatever. You know,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like it, Mike. If I am on the last outside circle. If I and you need to access the money that the central bankers print, we will have to probably pay a 6 to 7% to access it.
Oh,
Until
what?
unless
Yeah.
obviously we have a very good credit and we buy a house. And they're going berserk with these house prices. They made these people jump into the housing market at, I mean, like a person who's earning 100,000 also, I don't know how they can service a debt of 1.2 million home.
But did you see that article we read at the beginning? It takes 32 years to save up for a down payment.
In the current situation, yes.
30 in Vancouver or Toronto, like those kind of cities. But in Montreal, it takes 4 years to save up for a down payment. That's the
In
way it's
Montreal.
supposed to be. 4 years savings, 10% of your wages should be enough to put down to buy a house. Now you have to work 32 years to put down for a house.
Mike, Montreal's become very expensive as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know it because my family stays there. It's become so expensive. All everywhere, all over. The properties are going crazy. The asset price, that's what they predicted, right? That's why they printed.
Mm-hmm.
That's why they created this COVID. And this is not everybody knows. This is a synthesized virus, Mike. You know what? This is a depopulation drive. We all said it before, right? And it's been confirmed. All the doctors I know, my cousins in India, I mean, everybody's telling me this is a depopulation drive.
Mm-hmm.
People are not crazy. They know this is not a normal viral. This is a synthesized virus, Mike.
Have you taken your jab yet?
No, I need to. I've already booked it, but they're not giving it to us. I believe I'm not in a red zone. So if I was in a
I
red
would
zone,
hold
I would have
off,
got.
Ashima. I'm not a doctor, and I'm not allowed to give medical advice because I can't read. But I'm going to tell you as a
I think
friend.
you're absolutely right. You're right, Mike. But they say eat it and you die. Don't eat and you die. So what do? Eat it and die, right?
Yeah, I know what you're saying, but I would wait. You know what? I will take the job in 5 years. Once in 5 years from now, and I see what's happening, or we kind of see the backlash of
Let you
this.
travel. They won't let you travel. I'm telling you, they're coming up with a passport.
Yes,
You'll
they're
have to
already
have a
announcing that
certificate.
Canadians need to produce a COVID passport to come back into Canada.
So that's exactly what I'm saying. So you have it, you die. You don't have it, you die. Might as well have it and die.
Yeah,
You
I see
know.
what you're saying.
And the medicines don't suit me. I'm a happy to go lucky person, and I don't take any medicines. I'm by God's grace a non-smoker, a non-drinker, and whatever. Just stay as healthy as I can while I'm alive.
Mm-hmm.
So just be fit, walk, run, deep breathe, but live on herbs. But I don't think that's enough in the world of today.
Mm-hmm.
They want you to take things which you don't need to. Otherwise, why would they really profess these agendas of drugs abuse? And there's so many people dying with the use of drugs, Mike.
Oh yeah,
Healthy
we
people.
have more people dying of fentanyl and opioid overdoses just
Yeah,
in the city
yeah.
of Vancouver than all of Canada from COVID.
And then in US, you know what happened? I think it should be
America
all
was hit
lives
hard with
matter.
synthetic marijuana.
Yes, and you saw it happening. Like somebody's chewing marijuana, and a police officer was, like, what is he supposed to do? Not stop him?
Mm-hmm.
And what life matters? I think every life matters, Mike.
Of course,
Why only one
everybody
kind of
plays a
life
part in
matters?
everybody's life. I'm here.
Yeah,
I'm playing a part in your life. I'm playing a part in everybody
why?
watching. You know what I mean?
Yeah, why Black life matters? I think every life matters. Your life matters. My life matters. Every person in the world whose life matters. Why to start an agenda? Why to start
The
all
thing
these
is, if
things?
if
But that's how
my
they came
life
to
doesn't
power, right?
matter,
Yeah.
if my life doesn't matter, then my consciousness of everything exists around us because of our consciousness, right? So if we can't see what matters, then nothing matters, right? Because our
So,
consciousness is what makes what creates the reality around us, right?
Mike, now I think they're gonna heavily censor all the YouTubes and everything, which have already been censored.
Yeah.
Yesterday, someone posted something about
Tito
some riots
Santana.
somewhere, and they were just blocked off, removed off Facebook, and removed off Twitter.
Mm-hmm.
Their account was blocked. So that's what they're doing, just start. And who censors them? Who censors these guys?
Mm-hmm.
Nobody.
Well, because
They
they're
just,
given the green light to push their agenda, right?
yeah, they'll just come to the Senate and then we ask some stupid questions. Those questions which are very irrelevant, those questions which they already know how to answer. We've been talking about these things, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, nobody's
I go
bothered.
on YouTube. All I see now, I don't see anything worth. Like I see the guests that come on the show. People, those other channels are great, but I'm talking about like some guy running over ice cream with his car, and then this other guy
See,
pouring gravy down his pants, and all
that's what
this
they want us to
crap.
watch. Yes, they don't want. They remove those videos which are serious, right? You know it.
Mm-hmm.
They don't allow. They're just removed. We all can't have an opinion anymore because they get afraid that there's going to be a revolution and which they don't want. They can't handle it. They don't want anyone to even come out, Mike. Everybody is sick and tired of it.
Mm-hmm.
These agendas of synthesized viruses, you know, the Dr. F. Oh God, everybody knows about him.
Mm-hmm.
And first of all, you're a doctor. Go help people. Why do you have to keep on coming and giving interviews about, things which you're not even supposed to be talking about?
Mm-hmm. Like
How
having sex with a
effective
mask
Johnson
on. Yeah.
Tito Santana.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's been such a pleasure to come online and
Well, come on, Mike
speak
in
to
the
this
Night. We can talk
attorney.
more about those eerie things. I don't know what Mike in the Night's going to be because by Friday, the whole world's going to change by Friday. So by Saturday, we'll have a different show. We cannot predict shows anymore 3 days in advance because we don't even know.
That's so true.
Yeah. So
That's
that's how close to the line we are when it comes to naming our shows because we don't know what to name them anymore.
You
Things
just
turn
call
on a
them
dime like that.
Yes, absolutely. Because you don't. It's so volatile. Life is so volatile, Mike.
Mm-hmm.
It's become just a frenzy just to survive. Those people who couldn't even pay their mortgage, which they bought these houses for 380, 400, could not pay them. How are they? They want all of us to. Mike, this was last summer. I saw 4 houses, power of sales.
Mm-hmm.
They were told to evict, and it's going to come back now. And all these people with their riches are going to go in and buy those houses.
Chinese.
Why? Why do they print? Why do they say, "Oh yeah, we'll help the poor"?
Ashima, we've already debunked. Remember, I don't know if you saw last week's show. There's 18 homes for every 1 Canadian.
Yeah.
18 homes in existence for 1 Canadian. So where's the shortage? Where's the undersupply? There's no undersupply.
Yeah,
The
because
average Canadian can't afford to buy anything, period. And
Yeah,
we're bought
that's
out of our own markets.
yes, Mike. If you see the graph of past 20 years, how the housing wealth has been transferred, how it went right up, and then how they sucked in everyone, and then how it fell, and again it went up. But by that time, all those people who owned those houses were out,
Mhm.
and it was a pure, simple transfer of wealth. And it happens every time there is a recession or every time there is a crash.
Mhm.
And they only need a crash to transfer this wealth because they print, and it goes to those people who are in that circle. There's a name for this theory. There is a circle right there just next to the Fed who have access to this capital. The banks aren't lending, Mike.
Mhm.
There is no productivity. Productivity all over the world is stagnant,
Mhm.
right? And it's not going to go up because we are at a maximum productiveness.
Right. We are definitely.
Everybody is working. Who else? Who else can contribute to the economy going up? Economy of the world. Look at the world GDPs.
Printing money.
Who
But the
else
whole
is
world's printing money right
that's
now.
what that's the only reason. And there's a competition to print more. So they become so used to it, they can't stop printing anymore.
And they discredit and displace and remove the middle class.
Yeah, so they print on the name of the middle class, on the name of the poor person, right?
Mhm.
They call the indices also standard and poor.
Mhm.
Yak,
So
yak,
that's how
yak,
they
and
are.
sub
And
four line.
and I always say that in S&P, I'm the poor. Everybody else is the standard.
Standard and Poor.
And it's such an irony. We all buy it, Mike. It happened in front of us. What to do? We can't change the world. We don't have the power to, nor will we ever be given. People like you and me, we
And
don't
the
will
sad
never
part,
ever be given power.
but
Yeah.
the sad part is they're making us stop talking about how shitty things are. They're making us stop talking about it now. Now we can't even talk about it.
Yes, we're not even supposed to, right? So that's what I'm saying. If you go even talk about it, they say, "Oh, you're gonna go and you're gonna cause a revolution. You're gonna go on a rampage." People like you and I don't do that, Mike. We're too much of principled and not harm any one type of people. So we are the perfect people for these people to use, or transfer wealth from.
Mm-hmm.
A common man, that's it. And then Yellen would say, "Oh, we can't see a common man going hungry." Oh, I see them. The people who are hungry, they'll give them drugs and feed them drugs
Yeah.
and say, "Oh, yeah, your intention? Take drugs. Take drugs."
You grease ball.
They're
Crazy,
grease
yeah.
balls
Why
is
don't
what
they
it
give
is.
them
They're
employment?
total
Yeah,
grease balls.
Because there is no employment, Mike. There
Mhm.
is no, where are the jobs? Where are the jobs?
That's the problem. Where is the private sector? The private
Work
sector is
from
disappearing.
home. Work from home.
Hey, let me say something. You know what's going to happen? They're coming after government jobs. Once the private sector no longer is floating the public sector, they're going to start hacking government jobs left, right, center, up, down, left, right, and from behind. Watch.
Yeah, but who gets those government jobs? Most of the people are their own in-circle people, Mike.
I'm talking about
People
government
like-
jobs, like working for, like, doing government, like, public sector. Like,
Yeah,
Canada's government has
the
thousands of people in
municipality, this and
HR.
that. Yes.
You only need two
Absolutely
people
right.
in HR. They have thousands in Canada. And not even, I bet
those
half of them don't even speak English.
Yes, that's exactly what I'm telling you. They only want those people, either those people who are related to them, or those people who never think outside that specific task.
What a bunch of grease balls.
Those people are not supposed to think out of the box. They'll never hire people like you and me because, Mike, we think out of the box.
Mhm.
They only want people who are yes masters, slaves.
Mhm. What a bunch of grease balls.
You grease ball.
They'll say that we have this, we have that. They'll create something. They'll come up with some reason, Mike. And they only want people who want to work from home or develop some stuff. And then to show that everything is doing very good, they'll say, "Okay, now we're opening up everything." How come? How come now there is no COVID? I mean, like half of the people, no, 30% still are not vaccinated, no, in US. So why there is no COVID now? What happened? Because this is all synthesized, Mike. We all know it's all controlled.
Mhm.
They control it. They have, like the way they print, the way they control. This was all a printing gimmick, and just to because all their finances were out and they had to print and refinance and create those frauds.
So, but the
and
problem
buy
is, so if you want to let's get technical with this real quick here.
government, yeah, just government of the fraudsters, by the fraudsters, and for the fraudsters.
So
Not other
let's go
people.
back to 2010. So let's go back to 2008. Canada didn't see no correction. So we have a housing bubble in 2008. Everybody thought it was going to pop in 2010 after the Vancouver Olympics. Never popped. Housing. So we got one major bubble there. Then we have a bubble on a bubble by 2014 when they thought things were going to cool down, and it never did. And then 2016, they implemented the foreign buyers tax. Then there's another bubble on the bubble on the bubble, and that never popped. And then we got 2020, we have COVID. And we thought this was going to bring down the housing market because nobody's working. But we already sold enough of our properties to foreign investors. That's why we have 18 homes for every one Canadian. There's no undersupply. There's a ton of properties out there for one person. If we were in a real market, housing would go down 90%, not 80, 90%, because there's 18 properties for every one person in Canada.
Which are not owned by us. They're only owned by all those mortgage these companies. You don't even come to know these power of sales are actually underwritten by these mortgage companies. There's so many of them. Their hanky-panky stuff, the cat and mouse chase they play. The JP Morgans and those people. They all own all these. The maximum what they call it single-family homes are now. They are after those now, and they're going to buy them on a large scale after they throw us out of the market. Mike, I personally bid on 4 houses like this and didn't even get one. Why? Because they already know what they're doing. They have these people who buy these houses and then they rent them out on large scale, mass scale. It's not even the foreign buyers. These are these corporates, Mike.
Mm-hmm.
And they never tell you who, they never tell you who's the owner, who's bought it. Never. They say we're not supposed to tell. So that's it is. That's how it is. We're always going to be bought out of our own. So the only way out is just be very smart. Whatever you buy, make it sure you have enough to be able to pay your debt and be debt free. That's it. Don't get sucked into the debt circle, debt cycle,
Don't
whatever.
get into that.
Yeah, don't get into it.
Okay, Shima, I'm gonna
Even
let you
if you're
go.
to borrow. Yeah.
I'm wrapping
right.
it up. It's over 2 hours. I want to appreciate you very much coming on the show and giving us an update. And we'll get you on again. Just message me when you want to come on.
Sure.
And Mike in the Night's going to be big this Saturday because we don't know what it's about. Because imagine a headline or a story so big that we don't even know what's going to happen until Friday.
They're probably going to decide to tighten.
Oh,
Maybe.
no. By Friday? Oh, no. I see half the world in fire by Friday. That's how bad that's how unpredictable this world is right now we're in.
Maybe they decide to increase the interest rates because...
Well, never mind that. I think they're going to see first contact from Mars or from some solar system out there, from some universe out there. First contact is going to finally arrive.
And to those flights which are going up and charging $500,000 to take you up just a few kilometers above the Earth's surface and show you the Earth's circular surface for
good.
$500,000.
Well, we should raise some money for some flat earthers to go see that.
Tito Santana.
Yeah.
Absolutely. That's the latest they came up with today, right? They're
Sure.
going to charge for the tourism to the space or whatever,
Anyways, Ashima, thank you. God bless you. We'll talk later.
Good night.
Bye.
Bye.
That is Ashima. So good to have her on. And you know what?
I've never been to San Jose.
That's
I understand it gets a little wet.
Yeah. Anyways, that's Sergeant Slaughter, guys. That is the wrap-up time, guys. We are wrapping up Commonwealth for Common People. Thank you, folks, for coming on the show and being part of the show and making it good. Guys, let's do one last channel plug. If there's anybody still watching, guys, don't forget to, let's get some channel plug motion here in motion. Sorry about that, guys. It's been a long day today at work. I work, I come home to the family, I come to you guys, then I go back to work, and then, not back to work, I tuck my kids in, read them a book. Guys, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. I want to see if I could get to 14,000 subscribers by Christmas. Also, guys, don't forget to set your reminders for next week's Mike in the Night Wake Up. We're going to do a lot of call-ins. I want to get a lot of call-ins on the show. Next week, I want to get 10-minute plugs from 15 minutes per person. I want to get a nice flow of people calling in, just like we did on our predictions, 2020 predictions. We got over 35 people call in on our 2020 predictions. So I want to get a lot of callers in next week, if that's okay. Wake up! And don't forget to shop Teespring. Guys, please support. The I Love Amerifornia t-shirts are in. If you guys want, here it is. Let me give you my link. Guys, go ahead and pick up something. I Love Amerifornia. I Love Amerifornia is in. I had troubles making that. And the dirt bike t-shirt selling really well. Lord Humongous is wearing his dirt bike t-shirt right here. There he is right there. Lord Humongous is wearing his dirt bike t-shirt there. The Mike in the Night dirt bike t-shirt. It's one of our best sellers. Also, guys, don't forget to, you need to message me on Skype if you need to, message me on Instagram. It's the easiest one. They don't block your, Facebook is garbage. I have 120,000 followers on Facebook, 120,000. And nobody, it's useless. They block messages coming in. They filter people messaging me. I post something, 2 people see it. Forget it, man. Art by Dano. Don't forget artbydano.com. He has a new release section here that I asked him to put, and he did. Artbydano.com. Don't forget to check him out. Bundle packs from $50. Really cool stuff that he has going on. Artbydano.com. He is a local who supports us. And what else do we have? Ralphie.co.New Zealand. Music brought by him. Don't forget to subscribe. And Ralphie.co.New Zealand. Please donate with PayPal. I'm going to give you his donation. Guys, if you could please donate to Ralphie.com here, the 24-hour radio show that we have for Ralphie.co.New Zealand. Mike in the Night is playing on there all the time. He's got replays of Mike in the Night, so if you're driving around and you want to hear Mike in the Night for some weird reason, here it is. He's got replays going on that, so go ahead and donate $10, please, if you don't mind. He needs to hit $1,000 to pay for the streaming service. Anyways, guys, it's so good to have you guys on here. It's so good to have the show. It's so good to, that we're all here. Lord Humongous says he needs to talk to me on Skype. Yeah, turn on your Skype. Make sure it works. I have to run a few errands here with my children. I have to... Lord Humongous, I'll call you tomorrow at work, or you call me tomorrow at work, but make sure your Skype is working, though. I'll call you tomorrow when I'm at work. Mike, IG, Instagram is owned by Facebook. Yeah, but they're not blocking stuff. They're not blocking stuff like they are on Facebook. You know what I'm saying? So... Commonwealth for common people.
Tito Santana.
Commonwealth for common people.
You come out here, yak, yak, yak in some foreign language. This is the United States of America. I made this country what it is today.
We're Commonwealth for common people. Through community, Mike Martin's you and me. Throw our enemies through knowledge. Commonwealth, common people, Commonwealth for common people, Commonwealth for common people.
Yak, yak, yak in some foreign language. This is the United States of America.
Talking mountains rose in the distance when we...
Take care, and if you can't, stay safe.